Okay, beekeepers of the world, it's late October and I'm in the process of getting through a large bucket of wax which is down there, and slowly but surely processing it into stage one, which is this sort of spec. It's mainly wax, but there's a bit of fine detritus in there which we'll worry about at a later stage. So let's get started. These are my wax cappings. It's quite a lot. This was full to the top at the start of the session. I get quite a lot because I've got some top bar hives which give me extra sort of extra wax and everything compared to a regular thing. Quality is not as good as wax cappings, but it's all in there. So what have we got? One camping stove, which I'll turn on. There she blows. A couple of moderately cheap, it says it's stainless steel, but pots like this, not super clean at this stage, both about the same, and a kettle full of recently boiled water, which I'm about to tip in there nice and slowly. So, full kettle of that comes to about 1.5 inches in the pot. So I'll pop that on top of there. So I'm basically interested in keeping it just below boiling. I'm not bothered about having it boiling away. Find that once you pour this cold wax in there, we regulate the temperature. With a little bit of luck, we can get this at a temperature hot enough to melt the wax, but cool enough not to burn the wax. So we need to be below boiling. Just going to turn that down a bit more actually. I can work out how to do it. So let's go. And the secret is putting as much of this wax as you can squeeze in till you're about, I don't know, a couple of inches below the level. All this will just melt down essentially. So here we go. Right, maybe one more for good measure. Right, in he goes. Excellent. Right. Next little project, just go and wash my hands. Back shortly. Okay, I'm back with my recently washed hands. The gas is back on. And with a metal spoon, I'm just going to stir this in. And as you can imagine, what's going to happen is the wax is going to eventually melt, leaving a layer of scum and detritus on the top. Now, top secret here is to not do this when the bees are flying, when the weather's a bit cooler than it is today actually. I think I'm late enough in the day to get away with it. Otherwise you just attract lots of bees around you, which is no fun. One would argue this is a job for November, December, but being an impatient soul that I am, I couldn't be bothered to wait. So right, it's just a case of stirring until all the solids have melted. I'm going to say it's going to take 10 minutes for this to happen. Health and safety people would remind you that wax is flammable, so but we are outside and a little bit of risk, as far as I'm concerned, is what life's about. So there we go. So this water is just below boiling, I would suggest, and very slowly what should be happening is the wax should be melting away. Okay, I've been stirring now for around about 10 minutes, and the last few yellow bits of wax, one there for example, are almost gone. So we just need to keep going until there's no more yellow blobs of wax. Right, I think we've reached a critical mass. So the next little project is very carefully, ignoring these two wasps, pour this through the sieve, ignoring that wasp that's buzzing around my head. Right, there's now two wasps buzzing around my head. Again, the secret to this is doing it when the weather's cooler. But hey ho. There we go. There's the pot, almost clean, ready for the next batch. Putting that on there, but I'm going to turn this off. There we go, that's off. No, it's not, that's on. That's off. There we go. Now with my spoon, just try and get the last bit of liquid through the sieve and into the pot. Right. The remains now can be dropped in your compost bin. That's really of no value to us. And it's just a case of waiting now for the liquid inside there to cool and the wax to float to the top. Once complete, it won't be super pure. That will need a whole new batch run through, and I usually run it through an old t-shirt and try and filter out every last bit of fine particles to give me one clean block of wax. But in essence, that's it. As I say, don't do it when the wasps are flying, but that's my own stupidity. The wasps have decided to leave me alone, and the liquid in is starting to cool down, with the wax floating to the top, and the rest of the essentially honey, water and debris, in theory, going to the bottom. Okay, another half an hour's passed. To touch, I would describe that as still being hot, but as you can see, the wax is now starting to settle on top.